When the original Lectric XP 1.0 folding e-bike was introduced way back in 2019, it made a major impact on the e-bike landscape. Over the years, Lectric has evolved the XP and added more value and features, and to everyone's dismay, they've kept the starting price consistently under $1,000, even in the face of hyperinflation. You would be hard-pressed to find a similar model today that comes with the same quality components and features in this price range from a trustworthy company. So when Ride1Up announced their latest e-bike model, the Portola, how do you pronounce that?
Portola. Portola.
Whatever. A folding e-bike in the sub $1,000 range. Many were excited to see another e-bike company take on what most consider to be the market's value leader.
Literally the best-selling electric bike in all of America.
Especially one from a manufacturer that has a reputation for quality and value like Ride1Up has. But does this new e-bike measure up against the XP 3.0, or does it fall short? Let's go over how these two e-bikes match up and see if there's a new contender to take on the value king. But before we get into that, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And if you feel up to it, leave a comment down below, letting everyone know what you think about this new bike.
I love it. Fantastic.
It would be most appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Now let's jump into it. At first glance, the Portola looks like a much more streamlined version of the XP 3.0 step-through. Both the 3.0 and the Portola have an integrated battery in the down tube, the same giraffe-styled handlebars that you'll find on most folding e-bikes, 20-inch tires, and similar integrated rear racks that are welded onto the frame. It's as though Ride1Up looked at the step-through 3.0 and said, let's do that, but let's make it a bit more modern. That modern frame design comes with some flashier paint options as well. While the XP 3.0 step-through has your basic black and white color options, and the high-step version only comes in black, the Portola comes in 3 different colors, which they describe as a glossy charcoal, a glossy turquoise, and indigo in a matte finish. Just by looking at these side by side, the 3.0 appears to be longer, but the overall lengths are almost exactly the same. The Portola measures in just over 66 inches end to end, and the XP comes in at 66 inches or 67 inches depending on the frame. The handlebar reach is very similar as well, about 18.5 inches depending on where the seat is adjusted to. And despite there being a visual difference between the two frames, both manufacturers say that the standover heights measure in around 18 inches as well. But of course, the high-step XP is almost 6 inches higher at 24 inches. So, as you would expect, the recommended rider heights for all 3 bikes are pretty similar. The Ride1Up recommends riders that are anywhere from 4'10" to 6'4", while the Lectric recommends riders 4'10" to 6'5" on the high step, and 4'10" to 6'3" on the low step. And the Portola comes in at 5 pounds lighter than the XP. 59 pounds versus the XP coming in at 64. Personally, the weight difference wouldn't be a deal breaker to me, but I do know it's something that many people factor into a folding e-bike purchase. The overall cargo capacity of the XP is rated for 330 pounds versus only 300 pounds on the Portola. And the weight capacity for the rear rack is rated for only 130 pounds, while the 3.0 is 150 pounds. It's not a huge difference, but it can certainly give you a bit more peace of mind when hauling heavy loads, or if you decide to bring an adult passenger along for the ride. As far as the motor power to get you and that cargo going, the Portola comes out with a slight advantage. It comes with a 750 watt nominal rear geared hub motor with 65 Newton meters of torque. Ride1Up doesn't list the specific peak wattage of the bike, but going by the controller rating that they list at 20 amps, it should have a peak motor output of at least 960 watts. The XP 3.0 isn't too far behind though, coming in with a 500 watt nominal motor with a listed 55 Newton meters of torque. Lectric also indicates that their controller runs at 20 amps and lists a peak wattage for the 3.0 at 1000 plus watts, but no specific numbers are given for the peak wattage of either setup. Both bikes list Class 2 and Class 3 capabilities, a 20 mile per hour Class 2 speed for throttle only, and 28 miles per hour Class 3 speed for motor assistance while pedaling. However, these top speeds will vary depending on terrain, battery power, and of course how much weight you have on the bike, so keep that in mind. Both bikes give you the choice of 2 different battery sizes. The XP and Portola both have a standard battery option that is 48 volt, 10.4 amp hours. However, the long-range battery options do differ slightly. The XP's long-range battery has 14 amp hours of capacity, and the long-range Portola is just slightly smaller at 13.4 amp hours in size. The way that these batteries are accessed, though, is different. I do prefer the fact that you can attach and remove the Ride1Up battery with a single twist of the key and flick of a lever. But the XP's battery is only accessible when the bike is folded, which can be a slight irritation if you want to quickly grab your battery and bring it with you. Sure, it only takes a few seconds to do, but if you're not folding up your bike to store it, having to stop, fold it, slide the battery out of the frame and fold it again. Every time you want to remove the battery, it can get a bit tedious.
This is going to be very tedious.
But if you rarely take the battery off the bike, this may not be a factor to you. These motor/battery combos would translate into an estimated range of anywhere from 20 to 40 miles for the standard batteries, and somewhere between 25 to 65 miles of range for the larger ones. However, as always, I don't put a lot of faith in these range estimates that e-bike manufacturers will give you, since there are so many different factors that can affect how long and how far you can ride your e-bike. And some companies seem to completely overinflate their numbers, but these estimates are pretty conservative. You can, of course, pedal these e-bikes without any motor assistance. They are still bikes. Both come with a multi-gear drivetrain, an unbranded 7-speed system for the electric models, and an 8-speed Shimano drivetrain for the Ride1Up. Bringing these bikes to a stop should be easy, since they all come with hydraulic disc brakes and 180mm rotors, though neither manufacturer lists the specific make or model for the brakes, so it may vary depending on supply chain availability, or they may simply be a lesser known or no-name brake brand. Either way, I don't expect there to be much of a problem with either. While the actual handlebars themselves are very similar between the two bikes, the bar setup is quite different. Ride1Up tends to go with a more discreet display system on their bikes. It comes with a basic left handlebar mounted 2.2-inch black and white LCD display, while the XP 3.0 uses a center mounted display screen that is a bit larger, and comes with a left-hand free button remote for controls. Both displays will have the same basic functionality though, which will show you your speed, odometer, pedal assist level, power level, and a basic battery bar graphic. A big colorful screen would be a nice upgrade for either model. However, I do know many riders do prefer a more simplified display that is easier to read instead of a readout that's prettier but may be more difficult to see in the sunlight. Another big difference is the throttle. The Lectric has a half grip twist throttle that is standard on many e-bikes, but Ride1Up went with a left thumb throttle instead. This again boils down to preference, but I often hear that most riders prefer the grip throttle if they had to choose. Both e-bikes will come with a front fork suspension to take some of the impact out of those bumpy roads, but the tail end is rigid, so you may want to pick up a suspension seat post if you're looking for a smoother ride. Both come with 20 by 3-inch semi-knobby tires, which I feel is the sweet spot for folding e-bikes of this type. They're wide enough to give you a comfy ride, but thin enough to be light and nimble with turns, and grippy enough to let you ride on most terrains, on streets or dirt trails. The Portola and XP 3.0 come with the basic features that you'd expect on a folding e-bike, such as front and rear lighting, contoured handlebar grips, a plush saddle, folding pedals, as well as metal fenders to protect you from the elements. Both bikes seem to have a relatively easy assembly process. The XP requires you to attach the handlebars to the stem, and the Portola just needs the stem attached to the head tube. Either task should be a rather easy undertaking for most owners setting up their bikes for the first time. Finally, we come down to price. As I had mentioned at the start of this video, both of these bikes start under $1,000 for the standard battery option, $999 for the XP 3.0 and $995 for the Portola. Not much of a difference there. But the long-range battery options come in at $1,049 for the Portola, only $50 more than the standard battery model, and the 3.0 long range is priced at $1199. Granted, the long-range Lectric does have a slightly larger battery when it compared to the Ride1Up, but you only lose 0.6 amp hours of battery while you're saving $150. Keep in mind though, these are the current regular prices at the time of me making this video, so you may be able to get a better deal with any sales that could be happening. And this could only be the introductory price for the Ride1Up, since it was just released, its price may go up in the future. As with any time I talk about price, I try to factor in any hidden costs that may bring up this price tag when you make your purchase. Both bikes come pretty well equipped, so you wouldn't need to purchase any basic features such as fenders or lighting on either bike to get you started. As I mentioned before, you may want to upgrade to a suspension seat post to make your ride a bit smoother, and seating upgrade bundles are available from both manufacturers. These bundles include a larger seat with more padding and a basic suspension seat post. Lectric seat bundle will run you $125 when it's not on sale, and Ride1Up's seat upgrade bundle will cost $75, and it comes with a side mirror. Keep in mind that these e-bikes use standard seat posts and saddles, so if you want, you can probably get a third-party upgrade at a lower cost elsewhere. Rear passenger seats, however, are not as universal, so you may have difficulty finding an aftermarket alternative. Both companies do provide passenger seat options though. The Ride1Up kit is priced at $125, and comes with a seat as well as 2 folding foot pegs and 2 wheel guards for safety. The Lectric bundle is priced at $99 and comes with a seat, 2 foot pegs, and a passenger handlebar. Of the two, the Lectric option is a bit weaker in my opinion. The most obvious issue is that their kit doesn't include the wheel skirts, which means that you could run the risk of having something, or someone, getting caught in the spokes while riding on the back as a passenger. Also, it looks like the foot pegs don't fold, which is an odd choice for a folding e-bike. And I've heard from some Lectric owners that these non-folding foot pegs can interfere with how the bike folds. Beyond those items, there isn't much else that I would recommend as an upgrade for these bikes that would drive up the purchase price. If we factor in the potential costs of all these add-ons, the Portola with the long-range battery is still the best value. Of course, these are all the regular non-sale prices, so you may be able to find them cheaper if the company is running a promotion. But this should give you at least a better idea of what the potential costs of these bikes may become. In the end though, it's still a tough choice. Both brands have great reputations and are known for good customer service and decent quality bikes for the cost. Lectric has been the undisputed king for the affordable folding e-bike for half a decade. But with the Portola coming in with nearly the same features and stats at the same or even a lower cost is big. I'm not sure if Lectric is the go-to option that they once were, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're in the market for a low-cost folding e-bike, which one are you leaning towards? As a disclaimer, I'm not getting paid for my opinions, and no bikes have been sent to me to make this review. I should have an affiliate link to Ride1Up if you want to use it to support my channel, but regardless, I hope that you enjoyed this video and got some useful information from it. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It would be most appreciated. I thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I hope that you keep riding.